Begin invasion in 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, invaders. My name is Scott. This is Book Invasion. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag because it's June, middle of the year, something most booktubers do every year to talk about what they've read so far. So far this year I've read 33 books, which is pretty freaking amazing, but I did load my January, February with like 10 novellas or so, so they were pretty good. But anyway, let's get into the prompt. Prompt number 1, the best book you've read so far in 2021. I may have to give that honor to Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. That book kind of blew me away. I had high expectations going into it as a fan of the author of The Martian and Artemis. I had listened to the audiobook of this, and the narration of it was fantastic. It really got you into the story. The tonality of the quips and the humor, as well as the good companion, Rocky, was done fantastically. It was really a fun book. I laughed through it. It was just really enjoyable. It gave me those good feels of like, yes, this is the sci-fi that I missed, that I've kind of been grasping at, and now here it is again, and I loved it. Number 2, best sequel you've read so far in 2021. I've really only read one continuation of a series, and it was kind of a prequel. That was Day Zero by C. Robert Cargill, which is a prequel to Sea of Rust. That's the only kind of book I've read this year that's in the same series of books. But Day Zero was really great. You can see my full review of that here. Go ahead and check it out. It was a good read. 3, new releases you haven't read yet but want to. The first one I want to read is Feral Creatures by Kira Jane Buxton. This is the follow-up to the amazingly quirky and absurd, and some people love it, some people hate it, Hollow Kingdom. I really just want to get into Feral Creatures, get back into this world of these animals in this post-apocalyptic world. It's really just a fun time. You got to kind of go into it with just going along for the ride. It was a good one. The other release that came out recently that I have not read yet is Catalyst Gates by Megan E. O'Keefe. This is book 3 of the Protectorate series. Book 1 was Velocity Weapon. Book 2 was Chaos Vector. And now book 3 is The Catalyst Gate. That series is fantastic for anybody who loves like The Expanse. It's really right into that groove of great stuff. Number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year is The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. This is the 4th and final book of the Tower of Babel, Books of Babel series, starting with Senlin Ascends, Arm of the Sphinx, The Hod King, and now The Fall of Babel. It's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be fantastic. Everyone and their brother is going to be reading it. It's just a great series, and the writing, the prose that Josiah has is just something to, it's just fantastic, and it's different than your swashbuckling sword and sorcery fantasy. It's really a new kind of thing, and I think people are really grasping onto that. So check out that series if you have not yet. Number 5, the biggest disappointments. I don't know. There were a lot. I think when I read I read a couple books for Women in Horror Month that I went into it with the wrong expectations. One of them was Lakewood by Megan Giddings. That was really, it was just kind of an unnerving read. Like there wasn't really big things going on. It was all just kind of a lull of like, this is weird. Like this situation was kind of like, ugh. It didn't go to, I don't know, the extremes that I kind of wanted it to be for me to enjoy it more. Number 6, the biggest surprise, I would say Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark. I thought it was more going to be of like a historical period piece, which it kind of was, but the way that they layered on the fantasy elements and the supernatural elements and the different realms that were happening in there, the demons and the action and the fighting, it just blew my mind. It was fantastic. I really loved that. Number 7, a favorite new author or new to me, I would go with Terry Miles because I had just read Rabbits by him, and he is the creator of this whole series of podcasts and the Public Radio Alliance, and he is the owner of a company called Minnow Beats Whale, whose like sole mission is to create content that makes you kind of think about life in a different way, and how it's focused on the little things and make things small to digest, but really have a bigger impact on things. And so Rabbits was really a fantastic read. So Terry Miles, the more stuff that he creates, I really want to get into his other podcasts and go down that rabbit hole, so to speak. Hey-oh. Number 8, a new fictional crush. Like, come on, who's creating these? I went with Bully Boy by the Black Tongue Thief, the blind cat's bully boy, who's really part cat, part, assassin. But Black Tongue Thief was really an enjoyable read. You really get a new vocabulary of vulgarities when you read it. It's fun. There's all kinds of weird mischief, and our main character is just kind of a freewheeling thief, just out on doing whatever he can to get out from under the thumb of the Thieves Guild, who is going to kill him for money. So what has he got to lose? And there's a character, an animal companion named Bully Boy, who's a blind cat, which was really a fantastic piece to the story. That's my crush, I guess. If I would have a cat, I would want it to be Bully Boy. Number 9, newest favorite character. Besides Bully Boy, I would say Rocky from Project Hail Mary. Rocky was a great character. He was fantastic. It was just the way they did the narration on it, on the audio. If you haven't listened to it, you should, because they really did a good job getting his voice modulations and things like that, and the way that he spoke in a somewhat computerized voice was really great. Number 10, book that made you cry. I don't know. I didn't really read a sad book. I guess the saddest one I read was Day Zero with Pounce and the little boy having to go through their trials and tribulations, and then the ending of the book was a little bit sad. Not too bad, but nothing drastic. But that was kind of the one I put down for that. Number 11, a book that made you happy. This one I put Dimension of Miracles by Robert Sheckley. This was the first book I read this year in January, and it really was just, I wanted to read it because it was known as like the Hitchhiker's Guide before Hitchhiker's Guide, and that Douglas Adams was accused of reading Dimension of Miracles before he wrote Hitchhiker's Guide, which he claims he never did. So Dimension of Miracles by Robert Sheckley was really a fun and that kind of absolutely humorous, satirical take on, existence in general, with a comedic lens in it, and the way that he pulled that off, and the philosophical concepts that are in the book. They go through all these things and how that robots are designed to make mistakes. So when a robot makes mistakes, it's not really a mistake because they're programmed to have mistakes. The whole cycle of that was really fun, and I need to do a full review for that. So that was Dimension of Miracles by Robert Sheckley, a classic sci-fi to check out. Number 12, most beautiful book you bought so far this year or received. I would say, I don't know. I looked at all the covers and things like that. Maybe No Effect Loss by Essa Hansen has a fantastic spaceship cover. The other ones weren't that fantastic. And the last prompt, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? I need to read Glow by Tim Jordan. I need to read 10 Low by Stark Holborn. I need to read The Phlebotomist by Chris Panettiere. I need to read The Last Human by Zach Jordan. And I need to read Purgatory Mount by Adam Roberts. A whole bunch of other books that I have on my backlist that I still need to get to. There are very, very many of them. Plus, I will be judging the self-published sci-fi competition that kicks off in July, or when submissions open. So in August, I will be reading a ton of self-published sci-fi, and I hope to tell you all about them when that time comes. But that's then. This is now. I will see you later. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.